section there.
Well, do we
Uh,
need to talk?
My thing was that I couldn't see who had the reins.
Before November,
Before
Because
the
he had
meeting, they
right
voted
here
out.
and him here,
is there
and
much
they were
we
in
can
the
do?
middle,
Yeah.
but I couldn't see who had reins in the front. So I'm going to assume he was driving, but yeah, Bucky's got to stop the same as everybody else. And I've had people use that excuse on me before. Well, the horse didn't stop.
They don't have brakes. And if you're breaking a horse, you can't make him stop.
Where I had it was
What?
where
Really?
they thought that
A
it
buggy
needed to
doesn't
be
have
in the
brakes.
DLG.
Right.
I went
Okay.
in and I didn't
So
really
there's
see
nothing to actually stop the buggy.
No, but they can pull back on reins to stop the horse.
that's how it
Not
should
on a
be.
new horse.
Don't
You
change
can't.
it. Because
You
the
can't
way
make
the
them
park
stop.
is.
Well, I have
because
no
the
way of
fire
discerning a new horse from an old
It's just
horse,
that
or
you
Right.
have
I don't know anything
something
about
going
horses.
there,
But
you
usually
can't
once
do
they
it
want to
here.
start trotting,
So,
You know, what,
Well,
like the self insurance, what's that
Yeah.
going?
and
How's that going?
you
well,
can,
that's why
there's some horses
I
out there that
increased it
will not
13%
stop.
because that's how I know, you know,
Probably
that's,
is it
when I
more
first
than
started
the way
here,
they're
I
trained?
called and I asked why, because it's not a percentage.
It has to do with the fact
So every
that
hour is
on
13.
new horses,
And he
Oh,
was
okay.
and
Well,
they're not
20,
traffic
it's
safety.
1%.
Well, in that regard, I mean, I look at it like this. If they got a citation for it,
Nobody-
they can go to court and fight it out.
And, and also,
I've written,
I'm going to, like I
Where
said,
are
put it
the
in an
codified
Excel
laws on
spreadsheet and
What's
what
that?
people are
Horse and
saying,
carriage.
where's coming out of,
horse and
what
carriage
fund.
it's treated just
You're
like an
gonna
MVA.
know
It's
how much
treated
stop
just like a motor
signs
vehicle.
cost,
Stop
the
sign's a stop sign, whether you're on a
allowance,
bicycle,
the dental,
motor vehicle,
medical, vision,
horse and
long-term,
buggy,
short-term disability, all of that.
moped.
You're gonna see, and one employee
That doesn't
is
change.
for something about
And they assume
478, I believe,
the
is
statute
number
when they're on the road.
extra what they're making.
You know, I mean, that's what they,
Because it doesn't say that in the
And
codified
that's part of it,
laws.
so.
and
And
what
I've
else?
got the other
The
stuff from
codified
the specific, so you guys can compare their
Yeah. You're
salaries
old
and
man.
benefits. and
Well, do you want a horse and buggy just as quick as you
I
can?
know, I wasn't saying what you're supposed to do with the triangle on the back.
It says that anything,
Show you that anytime.
anything that cannot exceed greater than 34 miles an hour must have slow indicators on it,
Okay?
which that is.
But it says, in the IRA, it says the exception are horse and carriage. Because you're not,
I can look it up, I'm not disagreeing, I honestly don't know the answer to
but
it.
where's the code at?
I don't know, look it up.
The thing is.
I've looked at like
It'd be 921 something.
921.4, 921.
It could be, yeah, it could be.
See, I've read all of those, and it just doesn't go into detail about your license requirement, your tag requirements, because those are county.
Those, exactly.
And the rest of the stuff, as far as the horse and the buggy, it gives discretion
They make a lot
by
out of the
city or
town.
town as to the
And we have
ordinance.
history.
Yeah.
We don't have any ordinances.
No, we should.
I
I personally think every horse and buggy better have a dun carrier in this town, if it was me. Like 92 other counties in the state of
I
Indiana.
know Midwest don't charge
That's just
us,
my
and if they
opinion.
didn't charge it, they're gonna get it out
I
of
haven't
our
figured out to push for
There's
that.
50,000 written in there for that grant administration. County engineering,
What's that?
nothing, that's just straight the grant administration.
The point is this, I mean,
That's what I was told.
I don't know anything about it.
You
I thought
can-
instead of calling them and telling them we
That's
don't want
right,
to.
yeah, you get on the sidewalk, I have my arm out, little
That's what I
someone
was
through
saying.
against my arm,
Same
watch the
conversation
KC
with them.
has to
Hey,
employ
and
people
I
that
like
shovels
competition.
shit in the parking lot.
You know what it does say?
And
It
they
just
have
says
to
that you do not
negotiate
dispute
down
the
that
process.
5,000. He wasn't
No,
coming.
no.
It's already
And
spent.
they haven't. And
If-
he
if we're going
immediately,
down
oh
there,
yeah, it's the 5,000
horse
spent,
and
because he
buggy
knew that was the
on the
last they were
side,
gonna
and
get
we're
maybe.
pulling
So,
up
it's
alongside
like,
and we start talking
like
to
that
them.
for years,
And
so
the
I
horse-
told them they needed to get some competition.
Because they're-
And Mark,
They
it
smooth us
wasn't,
around
it
on the
wasn't
same
just
way
the
with
Missouri
the
Street,
horse
it was
shop.
Everybody
everybody,
complained.
it was
West
And
Street.
you
it was
got
the
no
water,
way
the
to-
water line,
Really?
the water line
I
was
didn't know that.
Midwest,
You
and
could rear
that,
up people.
that, well,
You know,
it was
it's
had to
like-
pay for
Is
someone
it
to have
too
a
late to
We
turn that
came over
into
to the house one night, had his
ADA
wife and
or
kids with him.
federal?
He's got,
The federal money we're spending,
Right.
and they cannot
Okay.
do anything that's
Boardman was across the street.
contract to ADA.
Oh.
Well, we have to look back through what the contract provided and what they did.
And Bill's a
I mean,
big guy.
he's saying they weren't
You
supposed to
know,
do
you
that,
gotta-
but I don't know what, I
That
don't
was
know.
sure
They
he
were
said it
calling
was
out.
sure.
And he had his foot all the way to the floor. And that horse
USDA.
was still.
And the thing is,
Wow.
you see the date on that, May of
And
12, that's the last time they have touched it,
Well,
they have not been in here
I
in
was
town
gonna ask,
saying,
when you said it's been
You
setting,
know, finally I
Yeah,
had to walk
who's
up
been
there
saying
and grab by the harness.
Midwestern's been
they
saying,
have.
the town doesn't know how to do
we
that
call
individually.
Shouldn't we call Umball and say, hey, come to talk and let the council know?
I know.
Tell them, and then make a decision, and then, because see, here's the process for Oak Ridge for securing a grant.
I know.
Right? And so you
Yeah.
haven't been,
Well, they know that, Triad. Triad's a much bigger company than.
I'm talking about.
Well, the board may know that. Uh-oh, there's somebody.
They just signed that contract the last day of that Tom was here. Did they not know?
Well, all I can think about right now is that they're not going to evaluate Dick Carnegie. That's all I can think about.
They're not gonna evaluate the what?
Dick Carnegie.
The economy.
Dick Carnegie. Did you catch that?
Who's Dick Carnegie?
Our park custodian that we paid.
Oh,
$15,000.
why aren't they?
Well, you know what? I can't say anything like that because I'll get shot down. I've already brought Dick's name up several times and they're not gonna evaluate him, which is fucking bullshit. Excuse my French, but it's bullcrap.
It is bull crap. Now, when did they just make that ruling?
Well, I wanted to say something, but,
They didn't do it at that table.
for.
They didn't determine that
You mean,
at that table right there
you mean what,
to evaluate Dick.
yeah.
They did it after the meeting.
No, they did it in the meeting. They said they named all the employees that they were going to evaluate.
Right, but they didn't name Dick. But
Right.
after the meeting,
Oh, I don't know about. No,
weren't they just standing right here saying it?
no,
Oh,
no, they were talking about Triad.
oh.
And they were talking about Triad and SIBC.
Well, you go home and you evaluate this man right here.
Dude, I turned 55 Wednesday, we're getting you need to turn your house over to me.
I said, did you catch that when he
I
was
seen you
55 and older? I went,
I seen your ass
oh, he
look.
turns
Hey,
55 Wednesday.
I'm 55 and disabled.
Well, they would say I'm disabled, but
So then,
But I
does that,
There you go.
that will help if you want to apply
You
for
going?
the application.
I'm gonna put an application in for a covered front porch.
well, I bet. You turn that house over and I'll get all kinda.
Hey,
turn it
remember,
over to me.
I signed it over to my son
Oh, well,
because you don't matter.
that's right. Don't really matter
Just
to me.
teasing.
I think there's a lot more people that should be eligible
And
or
you
that
know-
are more needy than
I've seen
I
a lot of
am.
them
And
get
you
it
know,
that
I'm gonna
wasn't.
tell you something. What kills me is this government discriminative bull crap. And what did they just do? Have 55 disability, families with children. What did they do? They just discriminated the
Against
single,
the married.
the
Well,
married under 55.
That's what
discriminated.
DOMA is,
It's
okay?
so crazy.
People
They
get it.
do not like married people. They took away the marriage exemption tax,
Yeah.
and then they give all the queers all the benefits.
Well, because his chief of staff is.
There'll be people get it that don't even have no right to have it.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off.
Well, so anyhow, yeah.
We solved that.
The
Manure?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of crappy how they
Off the top of
said,
my head,
oh, married and
Their estimates only, they're nice.
married and
but-
whatever.
I know it.
Yeah, I was like,
That is
whatever.
very common. I mean, that's been that way.
That's a good
for
picture.
20 years.
I know it.
25
And-
grand.
and you know
That's
what?
pretty common because they got all these components. Now, what
They're
I
having
was
a
gonna tell
meeting
you
after
too
the
is
meeting.
Triad may drop the
Is that what
price
you're
on
filming?
that if you tell them,
Huh?
you
Is that
already
what
have
you're
a
filming?
PDR that all they have to do is update. So that is your other option.
Right.
Try a little bit, say, boys, we didn't know that we already had this contract, you know, try a little bit. It always hurts just a little bit, but a tear usually will help you in a negotiation.
Yeah, well, you could use it to leverage some costs down
I'll cry,
and try it.
I do it all the time.
See you guys.
Good night.
You'll be crying on Wednesday night. Not